We first reported 2 weeks ago on rumblings inside the White House that President Trump had awakened to Fauci and the treachery of the NIH and the WHO at the UN. Now we know indeed those reports were true, and President Trump is striking back. President Trump has now awakened to the fact that a globalist cabal inside the World Health Organization, controlling the NIH in the United States, has been attempting to engage in economic warfare and keep the United States locked down through the election, because Democrats and globalists publicly admit they believe a bad economy will be instrumental in making Donald John Trump lose the 2020 election. AP reports on exclusive documents they received yesterday where President Trump effectively defanged the so-called COVID-19 task force. Now, earlier in the week, he'd been talking about abolishing it altogether, but instead, he simply has sidelined them and said, we're not going to put out your projections, your recommendations, and your new charts and graphs. Now, President Trump understands that first they had Russiagate to try to delegitimate his presidency and to hold up our agenda to make America great again in the last 3 years. Then they brought forward the Ukraine hoax coup. That failed. Now, because they're so desperate, because Ruth Bader Ginsburg is either going to die or retire very soon, that Trump not get more good people on the Supreme Court, they are openly admitting that they're going to try to say Trump's response to COVID-19 was terrible and that the economy could never be reopened. But Trump knows that he has all the statistics and all the numbers to show conclusively that the WHO and the NIH numbers that they got from Bill and Melinda Gates and others have been beyond 100% wrong. In the last 3.5 years, Trump's gotten very savvy when it comes to dealing with the deep state and different federal agencies, but he didn't expect the medical system itself to be Machiavelli. Well, that's one of the most corrupt areas, as we all know, with big pharma and all these foreign corporations and foreign governments actually involved funding projects inside the NIH. And then on top of that, we've got the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation controlling all the other big foundation money of the Carnegies, the Rockefellers, and the Ford Foundation, manipulating the data as well. And all of it has been fake. All of it has been a fraud. And it's coming out as medical doctors from Germany, the UK, Canada, the US, Mexico, Brazil, Japan go public and point out that we were told there was going to be 40 plus times the death 3 months ago. And then it was going to be 20 times the death, and then 10 times the death. All those curves were wrong. Instead, it just moves along slowly here at the bottom, up and down, up and down. There is no bell-shaped curve because we've now learned in major graphs that are from numbers released by the federal government themselves that everyone dying of cancer, pneumonia, heart attacks, car wrecks, skydiving accidents, shark attacks, anybody that dies is being tested. And if they test positive for COVID-19, it's being put on the death certificate, even though the tests show that if you've ever had a coronavirus infection, the common cold, that tests positive as well. That's why the president of Tanzania, who is a renowned biologist, went and looked at their own national lab and found that it said that a goat and a papaya, or a piece of fruit, was actually positive for it, because even their own national lab had been corrupted by NIH and WHO UN money to say everything is coronavirus, because they incentivize almost $14,000 to say you have a COVID patient, $39,000 to intubate someone onto a ventilator. But again, we've already covered all this. President Trump is aware of this. So instead of having a big fight with Fauci and the rest of them, he's simply sidelining them and not letting them bring forward their new fraudulent graphs and their new scams saying, oh, COVID's going to be with us forever. We've got to accept COVID. We're going to have to clamp down and then release, and then put the noose around your neck and then release, and that we've all got to have forced inoculations and we have no choice. But Americans are beginning to realize this is a fraud. They're attributing, again, almost all deaths to COVID-19, and they've moved those deaths out of the regular column and put it in the COVID-19 column to keep this power grab and this hysteria going. And President Trump understands there's only a month or so left to really open up the economy and get it going before the depression is going to be ultra massive and very hard to turn around. And even JP Morgan Chase is saying could last for more than 12 years. But President Trump can't do it all. We have to get the word out about this hoax, this fear. We have to quote Franklin Delano Roosevelt that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And we have to go back out and shop and go back out and dance and go back out to the movies and go back out and eat and get the economy going. 200 Hollywood scum with private jets and huge estates and mansions came out last week and said they want this to save the earth. They want people starving. They want a collapsing economy. They don't want us to have any consumerism, when they themselves are filthy rich from consumerism. But we don't have a choice. Our industrial and farming systems were taken from us in the last 50 years. We were told that we were now a service economy that would be good for the environment. But now we're being told services are non-essential, and they're vertically integrating the economy to only the big mega chains and only the big box stores. And then you go research the big mega corporations. They're all making record profits by this consolidation. So we have to shop local at the farmers markets. We need to start our own victory gardens. We have to get back to the soil, get back to the land, and become more self-sufficient. This whole exercise is about power, surveillance, control, bankrupting the little people, and making us be dependent on the state and mega corporations. We have to get back to basics and boost our own immune systems, getting sunlight, taking vitamins and minerals, exercising. We have to understand that our own weakness and our own decadence has put us in a position to be preyed on by superstates like Communist China, the UN, and this whole global program. But this is more proof that Trump is for real. He tried to get people not to panic 3 months ago. America wanted to panic. He said, fine, let's block the Chinese flights. The left said, no, 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 bring in the flights. He said, let's control the border. They said, no, 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 leave it open. Just don't let citizens leave their homes. Same thing in the UK. They have hundreds of thousands of people flying in every week to the UK unchecked, but citizens can't leave their homes. This isn't about stopping viruses. This isn't about saving lives. It isn't about being a hero wearing a mask. It's about a sign of submission that you are a slave. And so AP and others act like they've got the smoking gun, that Trump sidelined the scientists that know what to do. No, he sidelined scientists that are globalists that want to shut this economy down. Bill Gates couldn't even contain himself on CNN and other shows when they talk about how horrible this is going to be and how we're never really going to reopen. He looked like he just, seen his brand new baby boy born or something, because these people are authoritarian monsters. And that's why this report and other reports at Man.video are so important. And that's why we are begging viewers and listeners, for your own interest and our own interest of freedom and justice, to download these videos, put them on other platforms, share them, save them. But whatever you do, spread the word, because that's how we override the New World Order. This is an economic and cultural attack on freedom and on the free market to make you dependent and poor and to make you hopeless. But we can take action now and rebuild the economy together by saying no to fear and yes to hope, and then taking action. Thank you all for watching. We salute President Trump for desperately trying to get our country out of cardiac arrest. Now we've got to come to the aid of our country, ourselves, and our president. I'm Alex Jones, thanking you all.